Hi all, welcome to my channel. This is AWS for all. Today I'll show you how to set up a simple AWS architecture with an EC2 Linux server and a EC2 Windows server. Both are hosted on a same VPC and subnet. So let me show you the architecture we are going to try today. Uh, this is the architecture we are going to try, and we are going to host a Windows server on a public subnet, and which is in the same VPC. Um, and also we are going to spin a Linux machine, that means Linux server, and try to connect it from the local network from that means my laptop. And try to the Windows machines will be connected through Windows desktop, and we are going to SSH Linux machines. Let's get started. So I'm in AWS console homepage. For any reasons, if you are not getting this homepage, click on this top left button, the AWS console home. It will take you to AWS console home, or you can type the service names here in the search button and go to the services which you are looking for. Now we are looking for EC2 services. This is listed in the recently visited section of this page. Let's click on this EC2. So click on the instances. There are 0 instances running, and entire setup I'm doing it in AWS West region, that is West to Oregon. And click on this and launch instances. The launch instance will ask for the name tag. Let's provide a name tag, test Windows server. Come down, and here it gives an option to select the servers. So Amazon, Linux, Mac OS, Ubuntu, Windows, Red Hat, SUAC Linux, and Debian. There are multiple flavors available. Today we are going to host this Windows server. AWS provide the machine images. Machine images is nothing but the softwares and the servers are already built in to the machine image, and they will provide ready-made servers. So you can pick up the you can select any servers which you want, and there are many servers which are freely available, like as you see, Microsoft Windows Server 2025 base and free tier eligible, and Windows Server 25 free tier eligible. There are many servers which AWS provides freely, means like a free tier which will be valid for certain time, and you can make use of that until you have that until your free tier is valid. So today I'm going to spin a Microsoft Windows Server 2022 base. Come down, and the instant type determines the hardware part of it, like what vCPU I'm going to use, how much memory it's going to allocate. It's all defined by the type of instance I'm going to select. AWS has some naming conventions like T2 micro. There are multiple options like T2 and something like C5, compute optimized instances, memory optimized instances like M5. So today we are going to run the T2 micro, which is free tier eligible. I've selected the T2 micro, and I'm moving on to the next one. The key pair. The next section, it talks about the key pair, and the key pair is nothing but public key and private key combinations, and we are going to generate a new key here, or we can make use of the existing keys. This will be used to generate the password whenever we are going to RDP to the Windows machines. I will show you that. Um, we can create we can click on create a new key pair, and create. We had to enter the key name. Windows and Linux test key, and click on create key pair. So it will go and automatically save the keys will be available in my download, and this will be used when I remote connect to my Windows machine. The next section talks about the network settings, where we have to give the VPC and subnet. By default, it will be auto-populated with the default values. If we want to add, if we want to edit anything, just click on this edit button. Select the VPC. Right now, I have only the default VPC, which is provided by AWS. Select the default VPC. And subnet, we can pick and choose any subnet. So all these subnets are the public subnets, and that means it's all connected to internet gateway, and that internet traffic is allowed to the subnets. So I'm going to select the US West 2A. US West 2 is a region, and A is a zone. So right now I'm selecting US West 2A, that is Oregon, and zone is 2A, and the next one is assign public IP. So the public IP is every machines will be allocated with a public IP, through which it can be globally accessible outside the AWS network also. So this is an option. We can make this publicly available by enabling this, or we can keep it disabled. That depends on the need. I'm going to select this and enable it. The next one is the firewall and security group. So the security group is the security layer which filters the traffics which is coming inside and going outside of this machines, whether Windows or Linux machines. And I already have the existing security groups defined. I'm going to make use of that. I'll show you that security group in a minute. So the EC2 Windows security group is a security group which I already defined, and enabling the RDP traffic over this security group. You're not going to go change anything in the advanced network settings. This is not required. IPv6 prefixes interface type, and yeah, for our setup this is not required. And this is the root volume attached. Basically the EBS volumes will be attached to this Windows machine, and by default it will be 30 GB. GP2 is a type of EBS which will be by default attached to the this Windows machines, and you can change this to how much ever you want, and based on the need of your applications. Yeah, We are done with almost all the sections here, and the advanced details will cover few more steps. If you are using the Active Directory, we can configure it with the Active Directory. And IAM profiles or like authorizations and authentications for this EC2. Right now it's not required from our use case. And hostname type and DNS hostname, instance auto recovery, shutdown behavior. There are so many things we can set up with respect to EC2 behavior. The one important thing we need to capture here, at the end we do have user data. This user data will be used to run any kind of scripts which is supposed to run during while the EC2 is getting booted. During the booting time, this shell scripts will be executed, and for example, if I have to deploy any softwares into the machines, so I'll put all the details here, and I'll give the PowerShell scripts here, and that will deploy this required software. When the machine is up, it will be like fully install full version of this machine. That means like Windows Server plus install the required software. So it's a very useful tool, and when we develop the applications, real-time applications, or when we configure the real-time servers, this is this is a handy tool. Click on Launch tool. So successfully, it will throw on a message like successfully initiated launch of the instances. That means the launch is initiated with the instance ID. So we can go to this instance ID, we can click here, or we can also like view all instances. Let me click on this view all instances. This will take me to the server where it is running. So currently the Windows server is running, and it's a T2 micro, and the status check is initializing. It may take a couple of minutes. By the time it launches, I'll just go ahead and show you the architecture one more time and explain the security groups. So in this one, right now we are spinning a Windows machine, and the security group, what we have done is like the TCP port 339 and 3389 from a local network. So local network, I have picked the IP ranges of my current local Comcast IP range. I just opened this machine's TCP port 339 and 3389 for the local network. That means my local Comcast network. Let me show you how I set up the security group. Duplicate the session, and now we can go to service, which is the instance which we are running, and go to security tab here, and the security group which we have selected, and here inbound rule and outbound rule. The inbound rule controls all the traffic coming to this machine, and outbound rule controls the traffic which goes out of this machine. So in the inbound rules, we can see, let me edit inbound rules. Here it shows it's security group rule ID, and the type is RDP. Here in this it's allowing the TCP protocol traffic on port 3389. That is nothing but RDP traffic, and source, and any source, and it source it customize, sorry, the custom source allowed from this IP, and this specific IP is a range of IP where my Comcast is running. Okay, so basically what I'm saying is, from my laptop, I should be able to RDP this machine. So that's what this rule says, and I have kept only one rule for the inbound, and it cannot be reached anywhere from anywhere else from any other IPs. So I'll just cancel this because I did not make any changes. The outbound rules, in the outbound rules, it's allowing all the traffics, all traffic, all protocol, all port range, and all destinations. That means like this machine is capable of talking to anybody else in the world. It can reach out to anything else unless until they provision this traffic, or they are okay to receive this traffic. But for the inbound rules, it's controlled by the security group. Only the local IP address whatever I set up for my network will be allowed for this machine. So let's check whether the machine is up and running. Yeah, it's up and running now. So let's go to now we are going to connect this machine. Click on this, and there is an option connect. In this this is the page where it shows the details of this Windows server which we are running, and it gives all the details which we use to set up the VPC, subnet, security, and everything. And at the bottom section it talks about the status alarms, the details, other details, status and alarms, monitoring of those machines, and security, which talks about security groups, IAMs, NACLs, and networking. Now, what is a public IP we are using, what is a private IP we are using. The public IP is an IP which can be used, or through which this machine can be accessed from outside the AWS network also. The private IP is nothing but this is valid within AWS network, and that too within the specific VPC. So this is the VPC ID from in which we are spinning this machine. So the storage, we talked about storage. We attached 30 volumes, 30 GB of EBS volume. We can see that here the storage attached, and if we need any additional storage, we can attach it while this machine is running. Okay, so let's connect this machine. Click on connect, and here there is a session manager, RDP client, and EC2 serial console, and we can connect using that, but we'll try with the RDP client today. And RDP client, you can see this, download the remote desktop file and connect using the RDP client. Okay, so let's click on this, and it will download this machine, RDP file, and we need to get the password. If you remember, like we have saved our keys, so that we can use it here and for getting the password for this machine. Decrypt password, upload the key files. The key file was saved in the download sections, and just open it, select that file and decrypt password, and we'll get the password here. And once we get the password, go to the Windows server, RDP, click on this, it will pop up with username administrator and the password. Paste the password which we copied from the earlier screen and click continue. So it will non-secure, yes, this is normal, and click on continue. Takes a couple of minutes, probably around 10-15 seconds to pop up. We'll wait. Yeah, now the Windows session is up and running, and click on S. It should be available or publicly visible, and the top right, this shows the instance details, host name, instance ID, private IP, public IP, and instance size, T2 micro, and zone where it is running, and architecture. This is AMD machine, and total memory, and network low to moderate. Okay. So you can see this and the C drive, 30 GB we allocated. It's coming as C drive. Yeah, if you want more space, we can add another EBS volume here. So we have successfully logged in to the Windows machines. And now we are going to spin a Linux machine. Let's do the similar exercise with a Linux machine. We'll do it now. So if we go to our architecture diagram, right now what we have covered is the Windows server, and which allowed the traffic, and we allowed the traffic 3389, that is RDP traffic, to my on my laptop, that is local network. This security group allowed the local network open for local network, and we just connected through Windows Remote Desktop. So right now we are going to try this Linux server. The Linux server, after spinning the Linux server, we'll open the port 22 for the local network, and then again with the through security group, and we'll try to SSH this machine from the laptop. So launch instance and Linux test server, Amazon Linux, and AMI, I'll select Amazon Linux 2023 AMI, and 64-bit, and username, if you know, make a note, the username, it will be EC2 user. We'll use this username when we log in or when we SSH this machine. And T2 micro, I'll keep it as T2 micro as the instant type, and which is free tier eligible. And the key pair, I'll use a key pair which we created earlier, Windows Linux test key. And in the network section, what I'll do, I'll go and select the same VPC and the same subnet which we used earlier, that was West 2A, and auto assign public IP, yes, we'll let this will enable. And security group, I have already created a security group by opening the port 22 for my local network IP range. That is already there. I'll just use that. I'll show you this security group configurations in a minute. And advanced network section, we covered it in the Windows. It will be similar. Okay, so here the configure storage, it's 8 GB and GP3. Earlier it was GP2 and now it is GP3. It should be fine. If we need more space, we can add more space here, like 20 GB. So click on launch instance. Successfully initiated launch of instance, and it gives the instance ID here. And when you click on this and refresh this, the second one, Linux test server, is still running. Still initiating. So meantime, we'll go ahead and check our security group which we use for the Linux machine. So this is the security group which we used. When we open this, let's see the inbound rules, edit inbound rules. This is the security group rule ID. By default, AWS will allocate the rule IDs for all the rules. And type of traffic is SSH, and protocol is TCP, and the port range is 22. And the custom IP is custom source IP is my IP range, my Comcast IP range, and I'm not going to make any changes. I'll just cancel. I'll come out of this. It takes some time. By the time we'll revisit our architecture one more time. This is the Linux server which we are spinning right now, and opening the port. This security group is attached to this Linux server. This security groups are kind of logical, and this can be attached to the any machines. There is no physical thing associated with this. So the public subnet and private subnet, I'll make a separate video for this, but as of now the public subnet means it's a subnet which is associated with a root table, and this root table has a route to the internet gateway. This internet gateway will enable the connectivity of this components or any compute which runs inside the subnet, or any IPs inside the subnet that can be routed to internet using this IGW, that is internet gateway. So this route tables will be defined. Any traffics coming from this public subnet IPs, so that will be routed to IGW. I can show you that in a minute. Go to my previous, go to Windows Server, subnet, inside subnet, root table. The root table, the one which I was showing, this subnet is associated with the root table, and this is the root table. Inside this root table, any traffic or any IPs, outgoing IPs, will be routed to IGW. So that means this is an internet gateway by default created by the AWS, and this internet gateway will route this route the IP address which is coming from the subnet to the external internet. Okay, if any subnets are not associated with this IGW, that is Internet Gateway, they will become private, and none of the traffic will not go out of the AWS network. So there's a difference between public subnet and a private subnet, and I'll cover in a separate video. So if somebody noticed, like our Linux instance was already up and running. Yeah, the Linux machine is up and running now. So let's try to connect this. The user interface for both Linux and Windows machine is almost same. So if I click on this, it will show all the details. What is a public IP and private IP, and the details, other details, status and alarm monitoring, security group which we used, and networking, public IP, private IP, and storage tags, and all those things it will share it. Okay, let's try to connect. We can click on connect. There are multiple options we can connect to this Linux machines. EC2 instance connect. That's the one which we are going to try now. And session manager, we can use a session manager, and SSH client we can use, and EC2 serial console also we can use to connect. So instead of EC2 instance connect, let's try with SSH client. This is most of the people use SSH client. It's very easy to access, and it's kind of really powerful. So how to connect? So this machine is the SSH port 22 is open for my current laptop based on the security group. I can go to terminal. And let me minimize this. Before that, I'll go to downloads. This is where my the key is residing. I'll tell you why I came here. So I'm in my download machine and download folder now. Okay. Start PM. Windows Linux test key. This is the key which we created, and on today. Okay, we are going to make use of this key. How to SSH? There are steps here. So we need to set up the run this command if necessary to ensure that the key is publicly viewable. So we had to run this command chmod 400 on the Windows Linux key test key pen. Let's go to paste it. Then we'll go to SSH and with this key on the current folder, the EC2-user is a default user which AWS creates, and this is the DNS name for the public IP which AWS provided. It will be available on the main console also. So we'll use this command to SSH the machine. Right click, paste. Yes. we are inside this Linux machine now. Here will show, yeah, we have connected to the EC2 machine. As discussed, both Windows server and the Linux servers are spinning in the same subnet inside the same VPC as it's shown in the diagram. And currently, what we are trying to do, I'll connect this Windows server from Linux server. Other way around, I'll try to connect Linux server from the Windows server and Windows server from the Linux server. So using the private IPs. Let's try doing that. So this is the we are in currently we are looking at Windows server, and this is the private IP address. Let's copy this private IP address, and we'll go to the Linux machine, and let me ping this IP ping 109. I'm getting the response. Control C. Let's come out, and I'm going to do the same exercise from the Windows machine. So let me take the private IP of the Linux machine. This is the private IPv4 of the Linux machine. I'll copy that, and I'll go to Windows remote desktop, which is running currently, and I'm going to ping this Linux private IP 172.31.45.180. I'm getting the response back. So this means I'm able to connect the Linux server from the Windows server and a Windows server from the Linux server using the private IP address. So that's all for this session, and please subscribe my channel and click the like button and share button. We'll connect again in the next video. Thank you all.